Hello, welcome back to the show. We're still just waiting for one of our gorgeous guests to join us, but have been joined by two other gorgeous people. Tom Layton of the 40K show and Mr. Chucklebutty, the OG infield reporter. Honestly,
That's
Adam,
it.
your entire setup, I just want you to tell me stories. You look great.
I could tell you some stories. I won't,
Yeah.
but I could.
Well,
How are you? How are you doing?
Good, a little bit. Like, I'm doing really well. I'm really enjoying today. It's super fun. I just get to talk to all these lovely people, and then I'm just having a great time. And then we're just waiting for Nick Pert, another legend, who's just having some Skype issues, so hopefully that'll get resolved real soon. But yeah, it's lovely. Thank you very much for asking. Let me ask you guys how you are, Mr. Chucklebutty, with your incredibly nice setup. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm great. Yeah, today especially. I mean, I've been out cleaning my motorbike all morning. Spent about nearly 4 hours cleaning it today, so I'm feeling really good. It looks nice and shiny and clean, and can't wait to ride it again. But yeah, busy weekend. And in general, Henry, I knew you'd be out cleaning yours as well. I knew it. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, fairly busy weekend. But how about you guys? Just catch me up on who you've had on so far today.
Well, that's actually something I should have asked the last host. It was one of my plans to ask you both how you, what you thought of the guests previous, and kind of keep going through that process until it takes up most of the last show. So we had Dayton Bud on earlier, and also Mr. Owen Jackson. Yeah. And then we've had on Matt, and we've had on Adam, and we've had on Speckles, and we've also had Jacob and Bud on. So like a load of different people, and also Donal. Donal was in the first round as well. Have you got any of those standout personalities for you two that you've interacted with over the past couple of years?
Standout personality? Oh, Tom, you go.
No. You said the first word. You're off. Off you go.
I would say this guy called Tom Layton. He's got a standout
True.
personality,
I do. Yeah.
and he used to have great hair. I feel like lockdowns kind of tainted it, and kind of wearing a headset a little too often. Maybe it's impacted a little bit, but I'm sure we'll get to see it in a different guise at some point.
At some point, not today though.
But no, in terms of standout personalities, you can't go much further than the Warhammer TV live guys, right? That Adam Trogue, what a host!
That's why I miss you. I miss you loads. Tom, catch us up. How you been? What's going on?
Yeah, I've been good, thanks, mate. When was I last on? It was last on Thursday, right?
Yesterday.
I was on yesterday. Oh, of course, we did a react stream, didn't we? Yeah. So I've actually done something very productive, mate. I have managed to track down all of the sources for one army faction.
Wow.
I know, for 40k. It's very important because I'm playing in the scrim against Scotland for Team Wales.
Yeah.
And I'm playing against Custodes, and I need to find out where I learn all these rules. And the answer is, if you exclude FAQs, there are free sources. So I'm feeling pretty good about my chances of learning all of those by Tuesday.
Of knowing everything about one army.
Yeah,
that's pretty
one
bold.
2,000 point list.
Well, let me counterpoint this, because I don't think that you will have learned everything about one army. Because Chuckles is here. To tell you that you'll have learned nothing about Crusade, and he's livid.
Do Speckles play Crusade?
No, Chuckles.
Oh, Chuckles, sorry. Do you play Crusade?
I haven't yet. No, I'm really
join...
keen though. I really want to.
I was going to say
keen.
I don't join shows, Rob, with people who don't fuck. So I'm very disappointed that you've roped me into this.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
False pretenses.
That's not.
It's
not...
where you.
Go on, Chuckles.
I was going to say, is it like those TV shows where they invite two guests that are quite clearly on opposite sides of an argument, and they don't know that each other's going to be there, and they're like, "Hey, he thinks that abortion's great. Go." Huh?
Very much like my next two guests, where we're going to have Nathan Prescott and Vince Ventrella together. And I might just say, hey Vince, how well badly designed do you think that the book is, the Gits book is? And then
can you ask Vince how he feels about the state of 40k, please?
Okay, I will do.
Do it.
I will do. I will do. We'll just let
I
me
want to
bring
see what he says for an hour. Just go. Ran.
Hey, we're joined by Nick Pert as well. He's in the chat.
Hello.
Hey, Nick.
Hey.
I finally sorted my Skype out. It was being
And his fantastic cars.
misbehaving.
Yeah, it's lovely having you here.
Go.
Right, well, I'm going to dispense with what you guys think of... Nick, are you well? Can we check to see if you're well before we do anything else?
I'm stressed out at the minute.
Why?
I'm in the middle of we're in the middle of moving house, so it's it's a stressful time because you're packing up everything, trying to get everything, and it's like, oh my god, we need all this shit, and it's just a bit overwhelming.
What are you stressed about having to reorganize your paints? That would stress me out.
Mostly, yes, because Amy's raised some issues about my painting desk. She doesn't like it. So
I thought you were going to say she's raised some issues about your painting, Nikos. So.
No. She loves painting. It's a painting desk. Because my painting desk, when I made it, I've got loads of... So I went into loads of old army books and cut out loads of old black and white artwork and made like a collage of all this kind of stuff all over my painting desk.
That's cool.
And there's quite a few old ones from like the Vogue Trader book, which are like just like weird, scary heads. So Amy said they're scary, so she doesn't like those.
Are they not
So
allowed
I've
to
got
go to
cover
the new
them
house?
up.
Oh.
Well, one option is I'm going to build a curtain that will slide across the front of the desk so I can shut it away from everyone.
Now you can say paid no attention to the man behind the curtain while you're painting.
I was going to say, I just imagine Amy having her friends round, and you'll just sit there and go, and they'll be like, "What the hell?"
Literally hiding behind the curtain like Uncle Claudius.
Okay, all right. Well, that's cool. Right, I'm gonna ask you guys a bunch of questions, which is what I've done. If you guys obviously haven't been able to see for the rest of the day, I've asked everyone a bunch of questions.
Are they quick
for all the
fire?
different hosts. No, more long form. So just don't all try to treat them as quick fire because that would have really dampened the mood. Yes. Okay. Good. So I don't have loads. So a broad question.
Before we move on, I just want to warn everyone that you guys and the viewers, at some point, I may expose my chest.
That's a great present for the birthday.
Be cautious. I quickly have to go pick up a delivery. So my first question, broad strokes, run downstairs.
Oh my God.
What's your highlight from the year? Go quickly deal with that.
Highlight from the year? Oh, God. I think my highlight from the year was possibly the brief period in the summer where we could actually go to play in people's gardens and just go to play Warhammer at people's houses. There was a brief... I don't know how long that period was. It was a couple of months, wasn't it? Because Ninth had just come out and we were all itching to play.
So I can go on about Nikos because mine's kind of tangential to that. It actually kind of makes sense. So my highlight is going to be my brother's wedding, and the reason why is because he dragged us all to Northern Ireland, and his wedding was on the release of 9th edition. And so firstly, I can get family points by saying that was the highlight. But secondly, I can get points for me because I got to completely ignore 9th edition for a whole week, and it was fucking beautiful.
But also we had the Ram Ranch leak, which was before
that was
so
great. I forgot about that.
You tried to ignore it, but it found you.
It did, but I did. I did enjoy Ram Ranch, so I paid attention to the Ram Ranch bit, and then I completely ignored the rest of the release. I didn't actually read any rules. I'm just like, yeah, we can sack this off for a couple of weeks, and I don't have to read anything related to 9th edition 40k.
I've got to say my highlight has got to be the launch of 9th, but mainly because Crusade.
Oh no!
Just what a fantastic system, and I can't wait to play it all the time. Rob was saying he's going to start it again.
That, Adam.
No, you didn't. But I'd agree with that. The launch of 9th, I'd totally go with.
The launch was pretty fun.
Yeah, I like how all of ours have been the launch of 9th, and yours was how you can play games, and you enjoyed the launch, and mine was I got to hide from it. Didn't actually have to do anything regarding the launch of 9th.
But I think the launch was fun not because Games Workshop launched it well.
It was fun because
the launch was really annoying because the way that they were going about the launch was really, really annoying. They were like, here's one tiny rule in no context at all, and then next week here's another tiny rule, and then it was just like everyone was getting sick of that, and then eventually, that culminated in the Ram Ranch leaks, which saved us all from that misery. And And
Do you
also,
remember?
all the salty content creators who were like, "Oh, I didn't get to be the first person to release everything." Ugh. That was a highlight for me as well.
Did you?
Do you remember when we saw Engage in All Fronts? So we thought, yeah, this might be all right. It's a bit dog shit. You're not really going to max it. And now it's the most popular secondary because all the other secondaries are worse.
Wait, Nick, is that a chest I just saw?
Yeah, I just exposed my chest.
That's disappointing.
Born Again Bad Child says, I just love how good they thought vehicles were going to be. They are not.
Yeah.
Is the answer. Okay.
Well, I don't know how to play their own fucking game.
I'm sad I missed your highlight. Sorry, I was just had to run and grab a delivery. Apologies.
Okay, we can stream those very quickly if you want.
Have you all picked a highlight? Is that what we did? Because they were all great choices. Good.
Yeah.
All right. Right. So, what's the favourite thing you've painted in the past 369 days? Favourite thing you've painted and why?
Mine's easy.
Oh, go for it, Nick. What's
Well,
yours?
I'll go, seeing as both the other co-hosts have run off to collect, I presume, what is their favourite thing they've painted. My favourite thing, so I painted quite a lot over lockdown. I did a lot of Walk Boys, but they weren't my favourite. My favourite thing was definitely my Death Guard army. So I started my Death Guard army in start of December. I've now completed my entire Death Guard collection paint-wise until I buy some more stuff. But it's one of my favourite armies that I've painted ever at this point, because it's turned out really nicely. I love how it looks, and the process of getting it to that stage was fun, because some armies, like my orcs, it's just a slog to get them where they go, and they look okay, but they don't look amazing. But my Death Guard, I've loved painting those models because they're like, pretty up to date and modern models. They're really nice to paint, put together, and working with the streaking grime for the first time was a revelation, because I've really enjoyed using that product. So I'm going to use it a hell of a lot more from now on, for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nick, can I just ask a question about your Death Guard?
Yes.
When you're painting them, do you
Yes.
batch paint when you're going through the troops and that sort of thing? Do you batch paint them?
Mostly, yes. So I batch painted 30 infantry all at once, and then I did 10 Terminators, and I did 5 Terminators, and then I did all the characters at the same time. So yes, generally.
So the infantry. So are they the newer ones, the ones that came out of the was it 8?
Yeah, the multi-part box. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, fair play to you. There's so much detail on those, and there's so many individual little bits and stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
But also the kit has 7 to 14 different variant sculpts. So if you got 30, there's going to be 3 or 4 models that are almost identical that you can.
Yeah, I couldn't do so I did about the same amount. I think I did about 45 Plague Marines, and it took I had to do them in like blocks, like 5, like a block of 5 or like a block of 8 that were all the same or whatever, just like in a process, because it took me too long. But big shout on the streaking grime. As I talked about this already on the stream on this show today, and I said I am to me now, streaking grime is just the new Agrax Earthshade. Like, if I'm doing a brown wash, it's streaking grime. If I'm doing a red wash, it's the rust grime. Like, that's it. Like, there are no other washes in my life now, because other washes are cowards. Yeah, streaking grime is strong and powerful stuff, and I'm going to use it on all of my miniatures all of the time. All of the time.
Chuckles, I've got a question, mate. Are
Hello.
you massive, or have you bought a Children's Secret Lab chair?
I'm stood up. Yeah, I rest my leg on it sometimes, because when you're stood up for a while, you need to bend your leg. So yeah, it looks like I'm swinging on my chair a bit. But great question.
Understandable. Carry on.
What's your favourite thing that you painted, Tom?
Oh, I can do that easily. So I've got 2, but for different reasons. So I just want to go through those. The first one I'm going to go through is my Knight Acheron, with special thanks to Nikos for helping me with the parts of this, because I was missing a Forge World part, and by the time I realised, I had lost the receipt.
That looks a lot like a Castigator.
It's an Acheron. So
Easy
it's
mistake
got the
to
big flamer, and it's got the big chainsaw-y thing. And that's been languishing in my back room for about 2-3 years. Oh, that's probably need to retrim the base because there's some super glue that's gone over. And just in parts, really broken. And I managed to get that fixed up this year, and now it's actually usable and looks nice. But the one I actually enjoyed painting the most is my 2020 Primarch. So what I do is every year now I just buy a Primarch from Forge World and I paint it. So 2019 I did a Lorgar, and 2020 it was an Imperial's turn, so I did Lehman Russ. So I spent about 6 weeks just casually like painting the parts and assembling Lehman Russ, and I've put him on my Imperial shelf. So I got to try out a lot of new techniques with this, and I really had a lot of fun painting it. So I need to work out what I want to paint for 2021 for my Primarch. So that's probably my favorite model that I painted, but the most rewarding model is probably the Acura.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. You've been smashing it out over the past year. That's one of the things. Like
I wanted to get my cabinets finished, and I'm not even halfway through one, mate. So when I'm in the mood, I get painting a lot, but when I'm not in the mood, I kind of just like leave it for weeks.
I'm just saying, if you want to start a flame war with the Age of Sigmar guys on a Monday. Like, I think the 40k crew, Nick and Tom, have smashed the painting numbers. I'm just going to call it right now.
I would be down for that, because I think that would encourage me to paint more, because I'm not overly happy with how much I've painted this year.
Okay. I think you still
So are you
quite
saying
a lot.
the Monday AOS show guys are shit at painting and also shit at playing? Or just all round bad at everything? Is that what you're saying?
We can go over to the Age of Sigmar show and beat up the Age of Sigmar players.
Yeah, at their own game. Their own game.
I've never played it before, no problems. Nathan, he just plays Gargants, easy shit army. Dan, I don't even know what he plays, literal who.
Elves.
And James,
Elves.
I think
Anything
he sells
else.
stuff, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just sell stuff.
Roll them, no issues.
Yeah, this is the upcoming Honest Wargamer host invitational tournament. Live to TTS, which is the Smack Talk begins. Chuckles, what have you painted?
Hey, have you announced that, Rob?
I've told people about it today, so
Nice.
the Smack Talk can begin. Chuckles,
Don't know. You ain't gonna see that. It's
That's
a
okay.
Redemptor. It's probably my favorite. I also, since lockdown, I got an airbrush. And I went through the same stages I think everybody goes through with an airbrush. You get that initial like, oh, I'm gonna paint so much stuff and it's all gonna look great, and then you use it and you're like, wow, this is a lot harder than you think it is. And then you kind of gradually build up, and your overconfidence is kind of weaned off a little bit. But yeah, I think the Redemptor doesn't really suit a White Scars army whatsoever if you're into any of the lore. But I really, 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 really like it. And just in general, I would say my White Scars army, I've loved painting it, and quite a lot of them. I know everybody says, oh, you never go back. I've gone back to a lot of the ones I'd already painted and brought up the standard a little bit more, done a little bit more edge highlighting and that sort of thing. So,
well,
Yeah.
Chuckles is an excellent painter, and you guys can go check out his
where
stuff.
do you post them? I've never seen you post anything on Twitter. Do you put it on Instagram?
Instagram, yeah. Twitter scares me. I don't know if everyone else feels that way. But
Why?
Yeah.
No,
What's
that's
your
interesting.
brand,
Why
by the
don't
way?
you
I'm
post them
gonna
on
give it a
Twitter?
follow.
just Twitter, there just seems to be this constant feed of words and pictures, and my mind latches onto one or the other. So when I'm scrolling through, I'll either read it all and ignore all the pictures, or I'll look at just the pictures, and then before I know it, that's it. It's gone.
I think you should put the pictures up. I think people would really enjoy it. Like, and if anything, it would push some people towards your Instagram if that's like your main space. Like, people are genuinely like very thoughtful on Twitter with the likes and retweets. So like, and you do great work.
Yeah,
you do really nice painting.
I'd be very thoughtful with my insult that I wrote.
Yeah, he's very good. He's very good. His like, if you're just insulting people with like old shit, it's boring. But if you've got like a nice, spicy, creative, funny insult, it's the best content.
It's the
By the way,
best.
I'm looking at your Instagram right now, and your white pops. Like, it's really good.
Oh,
Like,
thanks, mate.
white is so
Appreciate
hard to do as well. It looks really, really good.
What's your Insta name, Chucklebutty? Tom, if you could link it in the chat, that'd be mint.
Yeah,
If
absolutely,
you've got the time.
Yeah,
All
I'll
right.
put it
moving
yeah.
on. What is it? Sorry, Adam.
Oh, sorry, he's just linked it. It's fine. If anybody is interested, by all means.
The
but,
Adam Hughes.
yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All onward.
All right, so next question for you guys. What's been your favourite interaction on the internet in the past year? Like what? Like has it been like a particularly funny like Twitter retort with someone? Have you guys been on a show with someone you enjoyed? Has there been some big spicy drama that you've loved? I take a moment to think about it. Tom I feel like Tom, you're keen and you know where you're at.
I've got a couple. So the Angry Joe came at me saying, I'm wondering why I thought the Harlequins were going to go boom, because he seemed to be under the impression I thought they were leaving. So that was fun. But the most fun I had was Scramblers. Just arguing with people about how that secondary is dog shit. Because I genuinely don't care if you agree with me or not. I'll just say what I think, and then if you agree with me or disagree, it doesn't really matter. Because if you agree with me, that's great, whatever. But if you disagree with me, you could turn up to a tournament and you'll pick your shitty secondary and you'll play 10 points down. And I'm like, great.
Listen, raise banners is hard to do as well. I want you to know that.
I played raise banners yesterday, did nothing, got 12 points. That's more than you'll ever get for scramblers for putting effort in.
I tried hard and got no points off raised banners as well, but that's my problem.
You're on the AOS show, Rob, so that's probably why.
I'm on the 40k show too. Like, I'm Switzerland.
It's okay. If you take a good employee and put them in a bad workplace, they'll become bad faster than if you put a bad employee in a good workplace.
Wow.
So because you're in the bad workplace, you suck.
Jesus. Nick, you got any thoughts?
I guess I'll just say I've really enjoyed just keep on doing the show, even though there's not. No, sometimes the show is very much tournament focused and competitive focused, and obviously with the lifeblood of that has been taken away a little bit, but still carrying on and doing the show every Thursday, as I found has been really fun. Even though we've all been having to do it from home, I think we've pivoted to do it and do it quite well, I think. But I think my highlights probably even though I wasn't on the one yesterday, the the reveal shows that we've done. They've always been loads of fun.
Yeah,
because like the Thursday show, generally we try to have something planned on the most part. Obviously, doing it every week can be challenging, fitting that in. But what's been fun about doing the reveal shows is that you just turn it up talking shit for a couple of hours. You don't have to play. It's just fun.
It's just hanging out with your mates, isn't it?
Really? It's easy. It's almost as easy as doing the 40k adjacent show where you just kind of like it's kind of about 40k, but you don't really have to plan or do anything really. You just kind of turn up and talk shit for an hour.
I'm going to be honest, mate.
Pretty easy.
I don't watch it, so I can't comment on it.
Yeah. Not worth your time, I guess, is it?
No.
Oh, okay.
There's no data, so what am I going to learn? You know,
not a lot.
Yeah, nothing.
All right, Adam, Nick, appreciated you as well, by the way, and also we missed you yesterday, but it was like we had a fun time. And what did you think of the reveals? I haven't asked you because we haven't had your take on them. How do you feel about your reveals?
I haven't really. Well, I've looked at the pictures. I've seen all the vampire stuff. I think they look all right. The bats are nice. The zombies look cool, but I think the issue they have is if you want to have a massive horde of them, if there's only 10 preset sculpts, it's going to look a bit samey, similar to Poxwalkers. But maybe the way the rules are, it'll push you towards just having a couple of units of 10, so it's not like you don't have that problem. The Bloodlights, I think, looked kind of cool, but not as cool as I thought they might look. I wasn't that impressed with them. I don't think they've knocked it out of the park.
I thought it was the paint scheme. I was willing to say that about the paint scheme. But I think
are the Blood Knights still £63 for 5?
No, we don't know. As of yet, but we imagine. Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Yeah, I think it was an interesting set of reveals yesterday. That one mechanical model, but I need to get your thoughts on the pig off.
I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I'm not oh my god, that's so fun and so cool. I'm just yeah, it's all right.
Am I the only one? Everyone's I'm on the train.
I could go on that. I think individually the model is okay, like 7 out of 10 maybe. But I think what I really like about it is the concept and what the precedent it sets, right, for doing Savage Orcs in the actual 40k Orc Codex. I think it's sick because we know I'm a big fan of big naked men, so I really want to run big naked orcs in 40k.
That's the real question. All right, fair point. Adam, what about you? What's your favourite interaction been in the past year?
I was actually thinking exactly the same as Nikos. It's the reveal shows, but it's kind of it's the repeated disappointment every time you watch one, because every single time they big it up to be the biggest reveals ever, and then the biggest reveal, the most huge one they ever revealed, turned out to be Gargants, as they put it.
I mean, they were
and it was a play on words.
Yeah,
and they are pretty big. Yeah, don't get me wrong. But when you're like, okay, now you've literally trolled me for that. But But it's just every time I'm watching it, expecting to see either the Khan, White Scars Khan for Forge World, or some Stormcast, and all year nothing.
Wait a minute, the Khan's the only Primarch that doesn't have a model right now, right?
Is he the only one left?
Well, who's missing? We've got 17, right?
Well, there's 19 chapters.
No, there's 18 chapters. There's 17 models, right?
Well, there's actually 20 because the other 2 female chapters got completely
Oh
sponged.
wow!
Well, they did. That's what you're going to find out. I guarantee that's what's going to happen. It's the female chapters, and they'll suddenly come out with them and be like, "Oh, look, we are all about diversity." You're like, "Well, you just made that up."
But yeah, but that's what fiction is.
That's
Made
true.
up.
Yeah, he's making it up day by day. All right, I tell you, a show that I enjoyed with doing you, Adam, was when Yumi had Henry on the show. That was a super fun time.
Oh,
And also,
yeah.
And some big shout outs to Nick showing us his leaks also on some of the early reaction shows were.
You had some cheese for us as well.
Yeah, was super good. All right, so what was your what was your favourite thing that's been released in the past year? So favourite thing that's been released.
I'm ready for this one, mate. You ready?
Go for it.
Actually, Gargants.
Really?
Yeah, I really like the models. I think they're really cool.
Okay.
I'm a big fan. I've not particularly been excited with any of the 40k stuff. A few of the Necron stuff's been really cool. I really liked Indomitus. I thought it was great. But the model that I think of when I think what was released in 2020, it's Gargants. I just love the models. I think they're really cool.
All right, super fair. No, I think I agree with you. I think they are cool.
See, I'm a hobbyist deep down, mate. I'm a Crusade player.
You are a Crusade player deep down.
It's true.
Nick, what about you?
I don't know. I think, I would probably say 9th edition as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in fact, I'll just say that. I mean, I was going to try and think of something different because I've already kind of said 9th edition release as an answer already. But I'm just going to go back to that just because I think it's changed 40k for quite drastically for the better. I know Tom's had some issues with it, being a bit more simplistic and stuff like that. But from out of the box 8th to out of the box 9th, I think 9th is a much improved game. I've enjoyed it a lot more.
Can I specifically go on that, Nikos, just very quickly? I don't disagree with you. I just didn't like 8th either.
Yeah,
it's definitely better than 8th.
But you didn't. But I'm sort of more talking. You didn't really play 8th. You played 8th WTC style, which is a vastly different game. So just out of the box 8th to out of the box 9th, I think it's a massive improvement, and I've enjoyed it so much more. That's why I'm just super excited for tournaments to get back going again.
Me too.
And I think there's some things to sort out with 40k, like specifically the secondaries. That needs to be
100%.
Massively addressed.
Did you watch the WTC Squadcast last week, Nikos?
Yes.
With the data we had
really
on the secondaries, There's like 3 seconds. So for those that haven't watched it, firstly go back and watch it because I'm going to massively oversimplify this. But raise the banners, while we stand, while we fight, and engage in our fronts with the 3 most taken secondaries by a country mile. And everyone else just lagged straight behind. There are a couple that you would see more, like priority targets, because that's a mission where you literally just stand in your deployment zone, you get 15 points.
Yeah.
But it's just silly.
I'd agree with you, Nick. I think what do you know? What's really funny is the launch of 9th edition was just done so badly. Like you said, the drip feed of information, then the leaks and the Ram Ranch, then the clusterfuck was the app, and you're not allowed to buy stuff, and then a chapter approved, and then a terrain chapter approved, and then blah 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 blah. But the game is good. I know, Tom, you've got some thoughts on it, but I think it's good. I think what they've done with terrain is excellent. I think the game itself is really solid. I think you can have some really fun interactive games with people with your miniatures, which isn't where I've ever felt 40k's been before. And so I'm with you. I think that was excellent. So ignoring every other element around it, the actual us getting a game to play with our miniatures, really really good. Adam, what about you?
The 40k app.
I mean, the meme storm that came out of that was glorious.
Is that really yours?
In all honesty, I would actually say 9th, sure, yeah, definitely. But actually, the game book things that they've got, these ones that open out, they're ring bound and they lay flat, they're just super useful. I think that's a really simple thing that has been needed for so long that I think that for me is the biggest change and the biggest release. Most useful release.
So can I tell you one of the things that I did? I don't know. Yeah. So there's on Amazon. So this is a phone, but it's not a very expensive phone. It's just an Android phone off Amazon, and I think it cost about £50. And the reason that I bought it was I bought it for when we do table bosses, and so one of the table bosses can use these to update the information for the overlays, because that's how we do it, right? So like that's what these are for. However, I have found that this is 100% the best book / thing you can ever have. Because normally you have your phone, right? And you're either using ITC Battle Apps, or you're using or you're looking on Wikipedia looking up some rules, or you're on Battlescribe. And so you tend to have a couple of screens. But for 40, 50 quid, which you would spend on some codexes or whatever anyway, you can have all of that on like a very cheap Android device, and I'm sure you can find some second-hand ones or something. But like a very, very cheap Android device, this can track your games on ITC Battles. It can have your rules, and it's just a very small, just like a phone is, like a quick reference. And yeah, you can use your phone, but I don't know. I'm like you guys, like I'll turn up to a game with like my battery on like 40% or whatever it is. Do you know what I mean? Like having something that's dedicated and it's got all of the PDFs of the rules on there or whatever it is. Because Nick, you normally use your iPad, right?
Yeah. I used to have my iPad, and my Dropbox is just full of everything. Obviously, I don't on my iPad have all the new codexes though, obviously, because they're not available in PDFs. But I definitely don't have those on there.
Literally.
So you must be using the new app, right then, Nick? Yeah.
No. I just remember all the new codexes. People tell me the information, and I remember it.
It's so good.
Well, I personally think this is the best purchase you can make. Like some crappy Android device with all of the stuff loaded on it that you keep up to date feels like a no-brainer to me. And I think that's like you just like cool and play my game tomorrow, have it on charge, whatever, and then just take it, and then you've got all your stuff on there. I think it's nice. And also you can multi-screen. Like you can be on like looking up your rule on one screen and then putting in your list on the other, because there still isn't like Battlescribe is brilliant, but you still like referentially like it gives you the name of the different like warlord traits, but if you're looking it up on one place you can drop it on the other. Does that make sense? Instead of having like a big tablet. I don't know. It's just a little tip that I'm sure no one's going to follow, but we bought it for one thing and then turns out it's really useful for something else. Right. What is the most valuable thing you think you've learned over the past year? Obviously being, thank you very much to Fuggin Bew for resubscribing. What do you think the most valuable thing is that you've learned over the past year?
Bloody hell.
I know, I'll give you guys a moment.
It's not the game that I miss playing, it's the people I miss playing with.
Yeah. Okay, that's very interesting. So as much as you like the lore and the game and everything else, you more miss the interactions to have with those people?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's super fair. Dominic really going to take this one seriously. I'm appreciating.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a big deep question, and I immediately I can't think of anything stupid or funny to say, and I also can't think of anything deep to say.
Yeah, same. It's because we're both kind of messes. It's fine.
I know. I get it. Like because like it's been a cultural shift for everyone on Earth, but weirdly all at the same time. If anyone has never watched the TV series The Leftovers, great show on HBO. I think it was on HBO, but wherever it was, it's really, really fun show because the premise of the show is in the first minute, so it's not a spoiler. 5% of the Earth's population just vanishes. There's no big blue light. They don't die. There's no aliens. They just are gone, and there's no explanation. Then it goes smash cuts to 4 or 5 years later, or whatever it is. I think it's 3 years later. And the premise of the show really is: what is life like when someone is dealing with grief, that normally everyone else is around them is on the level, and I can help them. Like I can help you because you're dealing with grief, right? The kind of the concept of the show is what happens when everyone on Earth is dealing with grief all at the same time. And I feel like it's a real good kind of analogy. It came out before COVID and everything, but what have we learned? We've all been through this shared experience, but also on our own, and I think that's a kind of interesting combo.
I guess I am myself an introverted person. So, being around lots of people socially, like tournaments, I love going to tournaments, but it does drain me because, you're around a lot of people socializing, and generally I'd have the Monday off just to chill out. just to wind down after it. So I guess I've learned that I can handle isolation quite well, but I'm not as much of an introvert as I might have thought before this, because obviously I have missed, going and playing Warhammer, not only missing playing the game, putting models up, but obviously hanging out with those people. But luckily, some of the some of the things, a lot of the social stuff that I do through Warhammer, I've also been able to still continue. So, doing the show every Thursday, still been able to do that just from home, interact with people on Twitter, blah, blah, blah. And then playing D&D, we've just shifted to doing that over Roll20 instead of playing it in real life. So I've still had those kind of regular social contacts. So I've not been isolated so much. I feel quite fortunate to have those sort of social groups to interact with. But, as I think around Christmas time was kind of like when I kind of felt I'd been through the 5 stages of grief about not being able to go outside and play Warhammer and stuff like that. And I was kind of feeling like just sort of that acceptance of, okay, this is rubbish now. I've been at home painting and speaking to people through the internet. I kind of just want to get back to normal life as soon as possible. But I'm kind of okay existing just as we are. But yeah, I guess to sum it up, I always knew that I really fucking loved playing Warhammer, but this sort of, just reinforces how fucking brilliant this hobby is. And as we're anticipating getting back to it normally.
Yeah. Great points. Love that. Tom, what about you?
Oh, fuck, I've probably forgotten about me, damn it. Okay. I think it reminded me that I'm actually a hobbyist. Like, I'm not really a gamer. Yeah. Like, I originally got into this through model trains. And then I got through that through Lord of the Rings. And then I got through that by painting cool space elves. Like, having painted a lot of stuff, I learned how to paint stuff, like, more quickly, but well. You know what I mean? Like, I've never considered myself a dog shit painter. I consider myself average. But I've quite enjoyed just chilling and painting, to be honest. When I'm in the mood, I can just get up, just put any old crap on my screen and just paint for a day and just chill. And I don't need to go out and play to enjoy 40k. In fact, sometimes when I get home, I'm like, I've got to play a fucking TTS game today. It's just kind of like, oh man, whatever, it's fine. Whereas if I'm like in the mood to paint, I'll be like, yeah, I'm in the mood to paint. I'm just gonna chill tonight. Whereas I've never come home and think, yeah, I'm in the mood to play a game of Warhammer on Tabletop Simulator. And the only times I'd ever play in real life anyway was when I had an organized game with someone. I wouldn't get home and think, I really wish I could go outside and play a game of Warhammer right now. But I would get that with painting. So
that's fair.
I've had a nice time with this, to be honest. Also, I've got some sick brushes, and I'm very pleased with my purchase. They are Da Vinci Maestros ones. Adam, yeah, they're decent. I'm trying a 10 at the minute. I'm going to try a 35 later because it has a fatter grip, and I like fat grip brushes. But yeah, they hold the point really well. I've got a thick base, and I'm into a thick base. So
that's interesting. Yeah. I was not expecting that. That's a nice answer. Chuckles, you got anything you want to add? We've done you.
I learned how to cut my hair.
You're on your own.
Same. I've learned that as well, Adam. Yeah.
I learned to not.
Learned to manage with massively long hair.
It's surprisingly a lot easier, isn't it? As well, Nick. It's a lot easier than you think it is.
Just the back bit that you got to guess.
Yeah. Just shave it all off. It's fine.
This is how I go.
Yeah.
Right, so some quick fire questions before we wrap up for today. So your best TV and films you watch over the past 369. Something you want to shout out to people, like you need to get involved and watch this. Anything you want to? I already know the belter. You want to tell me, Nikos?
Yeah, well, that's all right, but I wouldn't say that's the best I've watched.
Oh, really?
No, not even close. So the best. So it didn't obviously start during the pandemic, but series 3 of this TV program came out during the pandemic, and I would go as far to say it is probably my favourite TV show I've ever seen, and possibly the best. It's Dark, so on Netflix, Dark, if anyone's seen it. It's a 3 series, it's German, but it's dubbed into English, and it's about this kind of like time travel loop that kind of happens because some scientist does something, and it's this story, it's this really complicated and brilliant time travel mystery thriller sort of TV show. It's fucking brilliant. I was just absolutely hooked. Every episode, every series, absolutely fucking loved it. So if you've not seen it, I'd recommend giving it a go.
I will. Thank you to I'm a Good Demon Honest for raiding the channel with 7 viewers. Whoop whoop! It's so nice to be raided. Thanks very much. That's great of you. Big shout out. What about you, Adam? What have you been watching?
Well, the one over the last year that I would recommend, I don't know if any of you have seen it, Tales from the Loop on Amazon Prime.
I started to watch it, but I haven't. No,
I completely get that, Nick, because it's one of those, like, you watch a couple of episodes and you probably be a bit like, it's fine. But if you watch another couple, it's like, okay. And it's one of those, quite a few episodes happen at the same time. So you're then getting somebody else's perspective, and then you're getting a bit of info about why that person was where they were and that sort of thing. It's just like, absolutely. By the end of it, I was like, how is there only 10 episodes? I need more. And unfortunately, it's not been renewed yet. So,
Tom,
but that would be my.
I don't really watch too much TV, but I'm going to give a couple of recommendations. Firstly, every fucker and Menan has come on here and said Queen's Gambit. So I'm going to give you the OG, including you. I'm going to give you the OG Queen's Gambit, and I didn't watch this didn't come out in the year, but I watched it this year, and I've watched season 3 of Chihaya Faru. If you're a weeb, go and watch that. Also, I can't believe no one's mentioned this. It wasn't good, but it was something to put on in the background while you paint at the very start of lockdown, and that was very much appreciated. Tiger King.
It's big.
We have a shirt in the merch store.
Tiger King was. I think Tiger King was the story of the entire lockdown, because it went through journeys. Big at the start, and then you kind of were like, I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's Corona, really, and then you're like, oh, it's kind of like. And then after Christmas, it came back because maybe he was going to get released, and it was just like, it feels like that, like our feelings towards our feelings towards Tiger King have been our feelings towards the whole thing. So yeah, okay, I feel right. And then final question: is there any other content out there in the world that you love, enjoy, or some people you want to shout out, or anything like that, like from around the world that you think like some people should tune into that, or these guys are great guys, maybe their content's like meh, but they're trying super hard, like whatever you want. Like, I'll give you a moment. Adam, like, I know you watch a bunch of different stuff.
Are you are we leaning more towards Warhammer content? Is that what we're thinking?
Whatever you like. It could be Warhammer content, but it's whatever you like.
I've got to say, I've recently, and I might sound like a bit of a shill, but coming back to Henry Steele, Cult of Paint. I've became a patron however long ago, like a few months ago, and they've got so much stuff in their back catalogue and like individual little techniques you can pick up from watching. Like, I watched them painting a Blood Angel. I have no interest in painting Blood Angels, but you pick up little bits from how they do it because there's so many little techniques. But yeah, that I would say, if anybody who hasn't found Cult of Paint on YouTube yet, do it, and then go and be a patron, and then you get even more stuff.
I have a question before I joined this cult. So, does Henry insist that you refer to him as the leader? And is there a long-term plan to meet somewhere in the Nevada desert, complete a mass murder-suicide, and ascend to some sort of ancient planet elsewhere? Is it that kind of cult, or is it like...
That's a great question. I want answered as well.
What's the deal?
It is a great question. Henry Steele was in the chat earlier. He may have gone now. I could believe that we're at the prequel stage of that. We're just kind of laying this thing, and they've just brought out Cult of Paint, right, come all the way up, and when you become a patron, you get a mask. So maybe we're getting there.
Yeah. Okay.
One day.
Tom?
So I don't really tend to watch much content online. I don't really watch any YouTube channels, and I don't really do any have any portals that I'm subscribed to. So the only two other streamers that I watch are Jay from Oakhawk Minis. I watch him paint, and I watch Chris Frosin paint. Those are the two channels I watch. So if you want some good painting streams with some sick minis and some good tips, those two guys are the ones I watch at the minute.
And two
that
super
doesn't mean
nice
there aren't
guys.
other good ones. Yeah, and they are two super nice guys.
All right, sweet. Big shout. Lovely. Well, listen, you three, it's been lovely having you on. Thank you so much.
Can I shout out some content?
Yeah, please.
Just
wait, did I not ask you?
No, you just ignored me. Unbelievable.
I'm so sorry.
Some content that I've really enjoyed so during the lockdown I got back into playing Warcraft 3, one of the greatest games ever created. So I just want to give a shout out to Back to Warcraft.
Reforged or the original?
No, just the original.
There we go.
So Back to Warcraft is one of the best streams to watch for Warcraft 3. And in terms of Warhammer content, I want to give a shout out to I listen to quite a few podcasts, but I want to give a shout out to Can Hammer, because they're a 40k podcast that I've listened to for a long time, and just want to give them a random shout out. That I like
Super
their
nice
shit,
guys as well.
Yeah.
Aren't there also some good Warcraft streamers that you like?
Well, Back to Warcraft and Grubby is one of the main dudes.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Perfect.
Could I just add in an extra one? I found this the other day while I was just browsing through YouTube, and it's Partners at War. Have you guys found this yet?
No idea
Yeah,
what that is.
No. I have.
You have?
Yeah, definitely. They've got bodies in the basement.
Describe it for us, Rob.
Two incredibly kind Midwesterners discuss Warhammer, and they're very keen, wholesome, and lovely. I feel like it's an act, and they possibly murder people. But there's no evidence that they do. It's just they're too good. They're too nice.
Yeah,
you
don't feel it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, no, come on, life. There's no way life protected you that much that you weren't calloused in some way.
Mate, there are some people who are just like constantly cheery, and I hate them.
Yeah.
How dare they?
Same.
Imagine getting this far and not being cynical as fuck.
I know.
So good. Yeah, wholesome is
I
incredible.
have no idea.
I
I've not
think.
seen them, so I can't comment on them individually.
Genuinely, and I mean this with no sarcasm whatsoever. It's really, really entertaining. Like you say, Rob.
It is.
Like if it turns out that they are murderers, then fine. You'd be a bit like, well, I knew they were too nice. But actually, it's so wholesome. It's so nice, and it was really, really nice when you're having a bit of a shit time.
Yeah.
If you put that on, it's so nice. It takes the escapism to another level because you focus so entirely on it.
Yeah,
they are a family from the thumbnails. I'm going to be honest.
They are honestly cute as hell. And my joke was only obviously a joke. I think the point is that they just seem so lovely. Like, how can anyone be that kind? So I must try and push them down. There's also one in the chat about Carl from Independent Characters is hanging it up after one last show. But listen, we're going to have to go now because we've got to run off and get our next guest in. So thank you to you three for coming on the show. Thank you. Loads and loads. I will see you guys again soon. Thanks, everyone. We'll be back in 5 minutes. I'm going to put up a video again. I'm just going to keep playing this video over and over as little clips video, and then I'll get in the new guests. I'll be joined by Vince and Nathan. So that'll be a super fun show. See you guys.
Ask you about 40k, Rob.
I will do, I promise. You guys are great. Talk to you soon. Thank you.
Bye, Rob.
And bye. Hello. Welcome to Wargamer. I'm your host, Rob. It's the start of a very exciting series of videos. It's the streak. It's the best streak in the world. Hello to everyone who's joining us live, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch. I'm in the studio on my own, but that doesn't mean I'm alone. I'm going to try and do this every day, 7 days a week, until confinement is over. If you want to watch more stupid stuff, keep tuning into the show. And it's time for the Hunker in the Bunker Day 8. Oh, easy. Not even difficult. Can't wait for day 80. Dude, our date is in day 2 of 84. Just realizing that I might be doing a daily show for 84 days in a row is a bit. I've just seen the long future for me, and that's fun.
You got to give the people
what they want.
So it's
I'm on it.
It's a grey kind of flecky option today with a Nike trainer. Yeah, that's what I'm rocking today. I have got them pulled up as far as they go.
That's what I do. Why wouldn't you ever do that?
At what point do you just pull the leather out, smack some war paint on, and start hunting for gasoline?
Well,
I reckon it's up to Nathan.
The line art and then put up high quality versions of them so people can print them off for their little ones or for themselves, just colour in and keep themselves busy.
If you join the chat, you are one of the hashtag Grot Gang.
Well, I'll get to all that. I got to get through the housekeeping first. So Bud Kaler, a.k.a. Budtastic Guy's appearance on the Honest Wargamer is brought to you in part by the Budtastic Group of Companies, a subsidiary of the Rage of Sigmar media conglomerate.
Anyway,
It's all coming out now.
a whole bunch of people are like, and time to turn this one off today. This is only Stream Street Day 3. I can't wait to be like fucking Alex Jones in it, Stream Street Day 27.
She's marinating a brisket.
Yeah, so she's slow cooking a brisket, and
Wow.
it smells so nice.
I didn't know that's what people called it for their birthdays, but if that's what you guys call it,
Now, this isn't DIY. Can you see?
you got to be a bit higher, a bit higher.
Oh, there he is. Oh, bless. Oh, actually, I can. Oh,
He's got a wheel. Darren, he's got a wheel.
I know, come out there. But I keep getting woken up by really painful erections.
When I was a young boy.
I'm going to do a little Rob Austin. He's going to do a little show here. Top 3 bad Batman movies.
Well, number 1 would have to be.
Well, interestingly, the question was, how do you both feel about the Gargants? And the answer is massive erections.
Because I'm doing kind of unit by unit, rather than kind of getting distracted. Oh, that was.
Oh my God, John! What's cracking? It's been an interesting week. Hey?
Why? What happened?
The FAQ.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course. The
Yeah, that was
FAQ.
cool.
I thought you meant the armed insurrection in the United States of America. My bad.
No, I'm not wearing a leather jacket that's got speckles on it.
Yeah, I mean, if they're more than 100 points, then that's too much, to be honest.
Well, there are 140 points.
That's too much, then, to be honest.
All of 2 people. It's a bit like the Legion of Asgore group, right?
Hey, we're a thriving community. If anyone wants to just clip this clip right now, 100% Age of Sigmar 3, whenever that rolls around, 100% is going to be exactly the same. It's going to be that, that board specification. You, Pete Pratt, I see you're still in bed, and that's after organising a Age of Sigmar event yesterday, a socially distanced one in Northern Ireland. I see that Archie still didn't win anything. You don't know Archie Dayton, but you'd like him a lot. He is, he's a trier. Like Croak, who hasn't changed fucking points, which makes no sense. It makes no sense. What the fuck is that? And I love it because he's my favourite model. And if we can all do it, let's just fucking do it. Hey, you buy a Croak, I'll buy a Croak. We'll all just fucking use Croak, and it'll be the best year of our lives.
But you can't because he's sold out.
Innes Wilson, you won't be able to do it because they both look like a thumb. Greetings from the homeschooling world, Vengeance from Sylvania. I'm pretty sure my kid's reception teacher was sent by Sinesh to distract me from providing world-class homeschooling. Wow. Wow, loads to unpack there. Thank you so much. It's because we always do it live. You work to your skills, right? You can't prep, so you do live. Find a list of... Oh my God. No one tell Vince I said this. I would like to see a group of generic artifacts that people could choose from. Again, no one tell Vince I said that. Let me just check my calendar. Yes. I'm free.
Hold on. Yep, me too.
Nick, you brought up a really interesting point before the start of the show, actually, which I thought we could talk about.
Yeah, I'm an interesting person.
It used to be a 65? Are you sure your base isn't a 65 mil base?
Oh, I've found a tape measure. Yes. Oh, I knew I had one.
A builder that had to find a tape measure.
Yeah, they always have to find one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is a 65. That's the one I came on. So I've got to change the space. Oh.
Who also made a Sex for Seniors video. Really good watch.
Nerfed.
Fuck those guys.
Uh-huh.
Fucking cutting my base down now.
Do that, and I shall take the girls to the ball, but there's no ball.